Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigeria newspapers. And I begin with the Daily Trust. The major story here says, Kano Tribunal sacks Governor Yusuf, declares Gauna winner. Government imposes 24-hour curfew, business owners close shops. All the details on the front page of the Daily Trust. And to the First News newspaper, Governor Yusuf sacking. Police declare 24-hour curfew in Kano as Tribunal delivers verdict on Zoom. Declares Gauna winner of election. Tension grips state. Residents camper to safety. Traders hurriedly close shops. All right, you find all the details on the front page of the First News newspaper. To the blueprints now, still talking about the matter of the tribunal, the judgment delivered by the tribunal. It says, as tribunal sacks NNPP's Abba Yusuf, KNSG imposes a 24-hour curfew, police warn hoodlums, Ganduje, Gauna assure Kano of fairness, economic prosperity. All the details on the front page of the blueprint newspaper. All right, we move now to the Leadership newspaper. Tension in Kano as Tribunal sacks Governor Yusuf, declares APC's Gauna winner. State government imposes 24-hour curfew. Judgment won't stand, says NNPP. They say they are going to appeal the judgment. All right, you'll find all the details on the front page of the Leadership newspaper. We move now to this Nigeria newspaper. Tension in Kano over sack of Governor Yusuf as Tribunal delivers judgment via Zoom, invalidates over 165,000 NNPP votes, declares APC's Gauna winner of that election. Ibrahim?
The Nation newspaper is the first with me here. Planned strike, NLC keeps federal government in suspense. Planned strike, NLC keeps federal government in suspense. And the riders read, SGF ministers meet with VP Shetima. Labour State chapters waiting for go-ahead. Planned strike, NLC keeps federal government in suspense. That's the Nation newspaper. The Nigerian News Direct is next. NLC's proposed strike not in workers' interest, federal government. NLC's proposed strike not in workers' interest. That's the federal government. That's according to the Nigerian News Direct. On the front page of the Daily Times, Tinubu's 5 billion naira palliatives to states, Edo queries federal government, raises doubts on source of money. Edo queries federal government, raises doubts on source of money, and asking, is it from federal government 52% FAC or money orders? Is it from federal government 52% FAAC or money orders or old states? That's the Edo government asking this question. That's the Daily Times. The next is Daily Independent. Daily Independent has it as the banner headline. Edo asks federal government to explain source of 5 billion naira palliatives to states. Edo asks federal government to explain source of 5 billion naira palliatives to states. That's Daily Independent. The Punch newspaper is next. Tinubu's academic record. APC tackles Atiku as U.S. court grants ex-VP's request. Tinubu's academic record. APC tackles Atiku as U.S. court grants ex-VP's request. PDP, Atiku's aide, commend U.S. court, say Tinubu's academic record will be unveiled soon. Tinubu's academic record, APC tackles Atiku as U.S. court grants ex-VP's request. You can see that on the front page of the Punch newspaper. The penultimate paper with me here is Salient Times. Federation account accrued over 5 trillion naira in 6 months, says Ramfac. Federation accounts accrued over 5 trillion naira in 6 months, says Ramfac. That's the Salient Times. Business days last but not least. Dual listed stocks offer escape route for foreign investors. Dual-listed stocks offer escaped routes for foreign investors. That's the Business Day newspaper. Veronica.
All right, Ibrahim, let's quickly look at the Kano State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal that sacked Governor Yusuf, saying that due to overvoting and membership of the NNPP, that's the New Nigeria People's Party, and invalid votes because the documents that were submitted before the courts were not duly signed as expected. Those were some of the issues, and about 165,000 NNPP votes were invalidated as a result of all of these issues, and that led to APC's candidate at the governorship election at the time, Gauna, being declared winner. And the NNPP, as usual, has reacted. And let me just quickly read what their statement says. They said that they received with utter incredulity and disbelief the judgment of the Kano State Election Petition Tribunal on the March the 18th governorship election, and the reported judgment nullified the free, credible, and globally acclaimed fair election of our governorship candidate, Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf, and brazenly awarded the election to the APC candidate, Nasiru Gauna. And the tribunal arrived at this unjust judgment by unfairly subtracting 165,663 votes from the governor's tally in order to enable it unfairly award the election result to the candidate of the ruling APC. In doing so, the tribunal obviously affirms its belief that the votes tally of the APC candidate was sacrosanct. And so they say they will appeal this most unfair judgment and called on millions of their supporters in the state and in the rest of the country to remain calm and maintain peace. But then the police, being proactive, had decided to impose a curfew in the state. Because if you recall, during the election, when the NNPP candidate was declared winner of that election, you saw the state was agog. People trooped out, to show their support, to show how happy they were, because it was a change of government in the state. We recall that it had been the APC governor, the APC government that had been in power in the state at the time. And we know the Kwankwasiya movement, the Gandujia movement in the state, how it is that these are two strong personalities in the state that have strong following in the state. And because of how they know that whichever way this matter swings, all of their supporters will troop out to show, be it their dismay or their joy as it is, they decided to impose a curfew. And I think that was a good move to make.
Yeah, it is really a good move. And I feel even the incumbent governor who is being sacked by the tribunal also, remain calm. But then you see the fall on their face. You see the disappointment, in one of their members who was speaking on television yesterday. So it's an interesting thing. Kano State is an interesting politics. We see in Kano State. It has always been between the Kwankwasiya movement and the Gandujia movement. Yeah. So it's quite interesting. And one thing I found interesting there too was the fact that it was a Zoom judgment. the judges,
use of technology.
Definitely.
We've been calling for that.
Yeah, really. So some were like, so why didn't the judges come to the court if what they intend to deliver as judgment, was credible? Well, you can't say that. It's not about someone being there in person. It's all about, it does not change the fact of the matter. So whether it's, court will always rule based on the evidence that they are before them. Yeah. So if you're able to prove that, okay,
beyond reasonable
doubt that what you've brought forth to the court of law is credible, then the court might rule in your favor if they see it the way you've actually claimed. And there was a report of a former commissioner of land and physical planning, Adamu Kibiya, who allegedly asked the judges to choose between their lives and work, and he was sacked as a result of that, Yeah, that's the incumbent governor sacking him. So, and I felt that's quite, commendable. So we should also look at the protection of our judges. The fact that they are administering or delivering judgment, they are doing their job. Their lives should not be, under threat. So it is all about you being able to prove your case, whether it's in support of you. Because at the end of the day, if you come out victorious, you'll be happy. And at the end of the day, if you suffer, defeat, you should also
but in any case, there's always it's either you are victorious or you are defeated at the end of the day, which is something that we have often said when it comes to elections or the delivery of judgment. You should know that it could swing either way.
Either way.
But you must be able to prove your case beyond reasonable doubt. INEC had reeled out the requirements needed for the election.
And you must abide by
should follow it to the latter and ensure that you are not found faulting in any of the requirements laid before you by INEC. But then the case before the court found out that there were matters of overvoting, there were matters of the fact that you did not follow through with what was required by INEC.
Yeah.
And so we saw the votes.
Ballot papers that were not stamped, and they said the court went through those ballot papers.
The evidence was before the court.
Able to establish that.
And they established it. But then, as humans, yes, we understand, but it shouldn't go beyond to the extreme of you wanting to threaten people's lives and all of it. But it's an interesting development, I must say. Now it is being appealed.
Yeah.
We'll also see what happens after this appeal is done, how things pan out. It was expected that they were going to appeal. They were not going to, but these are the issues. Just yesterday, we had the CGN talking about the fact that Nigeria is a litigious country. And when we have elections like this, we always have matters of litigations here and there. And how who wins. How it impacts governance, delivery on the dividends of democracy, hampering, a process. At the end of the day, the electoral process is being questioned. That's right. How it is that people go to vote, and then it is the court that now determines who should, who wins at the end of the day. So there's a lot that has to be done with regards to electoral processes as it stands.
And there's a lot to be done about ourselves too. Sometimes we should learn to do the right thing, because if we blame INEC, if we blame the politicians, we are also part of it, the electors, the electorate. So when we go to exercise our franchise, we should do it the right way. We should follow the law. We should follow the guidelines. Even though some will say INEC did not follow its guidelines in elections and all that, we can keep blaming, for all we can.
So in as much as move us forward.
Exactly. Yeah. In as much as we've gone to the court and the court says, based on the evidence laid before them, this is what they found out. It doesn't mean that it is cast in stone. The judgment is not cast in stone. They have the NPP candidate also has the right to, just like you said, appeal and exercise his right to up onto the Supreme Court. And whatever the situation is, we should just take it as it is, and think of how we will be able to, participate in the coming elections and be able to also deliver victory for our own candidates or for our own supporters. So 24-hour curfew is a good thing, and the only thing we want to see is sanity. We want to see the state in cool and calm situation rather than chaotic.
Absolutely, and we hope that the people themselves will ensure that everywhere is calm, because we read that people were closing their shops and trying to see that they are not victims
for fear of what
could happen at the end of the day.